Hi guys, Resonance here with another replay cast of a pro game. So this is one of the many matches in a series that Komtan, also known as Okajima, played during this week in order to reach his end goal of achieving an elo higher than 2000 in Age of Empires 2 HD Edition. By the end of the series, he had 2029 elo and boasted an impressive 86% win rate. So let's take a look at how he got so far. Note that Komtan and Okajima are actually the same person, so I may refer to him as either name throughout the series. Anyway, let's just jump straight into it. So first off, right off the bat, we'll note that both players are indeed playing Mongols on the map Arabia, and this is another one-on-one. So let's see how this game is going to go. Looks like both players have decided to scout with sheep. This is important so that you can get a little extra map vision early on. Interesting to see that our Komtan friend has his scout so far forward so early. Normally you're scouting around your base, but it looks like he's going for the boar steal. And this is going to be really significant. I love this play from Komtan over here, because since it's a Mongols mirror match, remember that Mongols have a civilization bonus that allows them to gather food from hunted animals 50% faster, and so this includes the boar and the deer. So hunting the wild boar is even more significant than it normally is. So losing one boar is, well, devastating, and you'll notice that Komtan is opting for like a sort of zigzag movement pattern, and that's because when you're stealing the boar with your scout will outrun him, and the boar will get bored and he'll lose aggro basically, unless you run in a zigzag pattern, because you want the scout to be just far enough in front of him. And yeah, this is going to be very, very significant. So yeah, our poor friend Lonely over here is indeed down a boar, and that's going to make pretty significant difference in the long run. One thing that is interesting to note is that compared to last game, the maps are definitely more open for both players, but that Komtan has a much better like defensive map, I suppose. Sure, his gold's in the front and whatnot, and is quite vulnerable, but there's this nasty hill here for Lonely, which has both of his gold deposits. Really in a dangerous position here. So I think Komtan has a slightly better map generation in terms that it'll be much easier for him to wall up, and that there's no massive hill at the front of your base. Always got to watch out for that. Looks like he's going to plop down a mill just about now that he has 100 wood. And yeah, the Mongols hunting bonus typically allows the Mongols to get a really fast feudal age, if not just advancement times in general. Because the extra food boost that they get is really significant, and yeah, because they can get so much food from all these hunted animals, you really don't need to put down that many farms until maybe past 10 minutes in. Alright, so we got the third boar coming in here. He's really going to accumulate quite the advantage at this rate. Yep, and this is going to be another perfect boar lure, as the boar is going to die completely under the town center. Although I guess it is a little bit too close to the base part of the town center. I'm not sure if he'll be able to fully saturate this. Alright, it looks like he will actually, if he wants to. And yeah, this is going to be Lonely's only boar. We'll see how he reacts to this. Looks like the gather point of his town center is set towards these deer, so it looks like, yeah, he's going to compensate with a little deer. I really love how Lonely is using his houses to protect his lumber camp, basically. His lumber camp has a nice crescent shape here, which means that it'll be incredibly easy to defend, and on the off chance that Komtan decides to go for some sort of drush, that he can just wall up this really easily with palisades as soon as he sees them. And yeah, you'll note that many players opt to hunt deer with the 4 villagers, and the reason is because if you hunt them with like 3, deer will have like 20 food left on it, and then your villagers will have to walk back with their 35, and then by the time they get back to the deer will have lost, most if not all of its food. So 4 villagers is the absolute minimum for hunting deer without any lost efficiency. And then 5 is perhaps a little excessive. Alright, so let's see the differences in the economy over here. One thing to note is that it appears that Komtan has a 2 population lead, and he might be opting for a drush. The early barracks and the lack of loom does make me think that he's heavily considering this drush. And he should be able to, with really no difficulties. He got that extra boar, so as you can tell, he's got so many sheep left over compared to Lonely. Lonely only has, I guess he only has 1 sheep left. Whereas our buddy Komtan over here, he's got 2 extra and he's harvesting from 2 right now. We'll see if he's going for the drush or he's just going straight for the feudal. That is the question. Alright, he is definitely going for the drush. And yeah, skipping loom allows him to have an even more effective drush than normal. And this is because if you research loom early on, you'll be left with 50 gold, which means that you have to mine 10 gold from this gold deposit to be able to get 3 militia out, which is standard for the drush. You want 3. Because if you build too many, it can really slow down your feudal time and your castle time and whatnot. And they're really only effective to a certain point, but sometimes you will see the 5 militia drush. It's a little riskier, but it can be quite deadly. And yeah, getting this early gold also signifies to me that he's perhaps considering archers of some sort. He's not hunting deer right now, which makes me think that... Oh, is he gonna forward with these villagers as well? Ooh. But yeah, the lack of hunting deer makes me think that he doesn't want to necessarily go to the Castle Age ASAP. I do love this decision from Lonely to get the deer as a sort of substitute, because he's going to need that burst of food income to get to the Feudal Age really quickly, as Mongols tend to do. Lonely doing some great scouting right here. He does see these villagers with his scout. It's really important that you scout so that you know what your opponent is doing. Because something like this, where you see the 4 villagers coming in for some sort of forward action, you really want to know that it's coming so that you can adequately prepare for it. And yeah, it looks like Komtan is going to really exploit this hill and see if he can get Lonely completely off of gold. Of course, Lonely has this gold deposit over here, but it's so far away. And yeah, we've got the defensive militia coming out from Lonely. He was considering going for a drush himself, but he wisely kept them in his base because he scouted. He knows the Komtan's coming. Is he going to go for the 5 militia, or is it just 4? Looks like just 4. Alright, yeah. This is going to be an interesting fight, although Komtan should win this because he's got all these extra villagers, and early on, the first 2 ages, they are quite an effective fighting force. Ideally, you don't want to use them in a one-on-one combat situation because they're not gathering any resources in that scenario, but they're quite tough. Is Komtan actually retreating here? Yeah, usually... Oh no, it looks like he's turning back. Yeah, usually the 4 villagers in the Feudal Age signifies some sort of forward action with maybe even some tower rushing. Mongols are actually one of the best, if not the best, tower rushing civilizations in the game because they can get an incredibly fast Feudal Age time and really catch their opponent off guard with early watchtowers. I love the decision for Lonely to upgrade to men-at-arms here. This is going to ensure that he might even be able to really do much better in this fight, basically. Like, he might even get some free kills here. Although it looks like Komtan's unit control might just be a teeny bit better. You'll note how he is like attempting to move away the villagers that are on really low health so that he gets lots of free hits on these men-at-arms while they're chasing after that villager. And by the time they finally got him, you know, he lost 2 right there, and that's not good. And yeah, we know that Komtan's going archers because he has such an early gold deposit. And yeah, Lonely might be going archers as well, it seems likely to me. But let's go check inside that archer range. Yeah, he's definitely going archers as well. And I love this decision from Lonely to put down this watchtower here. He has to protect these 2 gold deposits. If he loses them, it's absolutely over. The issue being, though, is that Lonely doesn't have a good location to put this watchtower in necessarily. Yeah, and I do like how he decided to delete that there, though. But yeah, ideally he'd want it at the top of the hill so that units don't deal bonus damage to it, because they have the hill advantage, but he can't do that just the way this hill is. If he puts the watchtower all the way up here, his gold miners won't be able to protect themselves inside. Komtan's got to be careful here. He's going to lose his scout to the town center. Great play here from Lonely. He gets 2 free kills. And yeah, I love that both players are really showing us the power of an early man-at-arms. They're quite powerful in the Feudal Age. But of course you can't invest too heavily in them or you're really going to slow down your Castle Age time. You'll notice that many players tend to start off their Feudal Age with something like scouts or maybe some men-at-arms, some skirmishers, spearmen and whatnot. But they'll quickly transition into something like archers, and that's because Well, you can't afford to stick to something like men-at-arms or scouts, because you're really going to need to stockpile a lot of food, and quite a bit of gold if you want to advance, but it's mostly the food. I do like this counter watchtower here from Lonely. I don't know if it's necessarily in the best position, but what it does mean is that Komtan can't really go in here, although I don't think he'd want to. I'm not sure actually about this watchtower position. I might have put it over here, or maybe over here, so that Komtan can't slip in here. What Komtan should be doing is focusing that watchtower with his, because his watchtower actually has a hill advantage, and watchtowers are actually incredibly good at killing other watchtowers, and it's a great way to clear out a tower rush if you're getting trushed. So if someone's got a tower in your base, you know what you do is just like what Lonely's doing, is you get a tower, you fill it with villagers, and these arrows do so much damage to that watchtower. And losing a tower early on is, well, incredibly significant and can be quite game-changing. I do like how these woodcutters and foragers are quite safe, and just, you know, Lonely's base layout in general is great. Looks like he's got a few more men-at-arms in here, and, ooh, there is actually a gap between these two buildings, so, But it looks like Komtan recognizes that, he's going to get some free men-at-arms here. Very nicely played. Lonely is realizing that his woodcutters are in trouble, and he is making a makeshift building wall off here. It's interesting to oh my, Komtan's going to lose both villagers to that watchtower, and he's going to lose this watchtower. That is actually really significant. It's pretty cool to see Komtan on the other foot, where he's forwarding his opponent, and his opponent is defending, but I think that Lonely's building placement and his strategic choices have just been superior at the moment. A counter watchtower is a great way to deal with the tower rush, and yeah, this tower is going down. And that's pretty significant, because now, you know, when Komtan reaches the castle age, he won't have enough stone for an additional town center. So yeah, I dig it. He's going to have to ungarrison those villagers, of course. And yeah, this means that no more towers from Komtan unless he wants to invest in stone. Perhaps if Komtan was focusing down that tower and he had enough villagers inside it, the hill advantage could have been enough. Alright, this is going to be a pretty good fight for Komtan. Lonely should back up, and he is recognizing this. Both players have fletching. This is quite important. You can never forget your blacksmith upgrades, and one thing to keep in mind is that when it comes to melee units, you always want to be focusing on getting their defense upgrades first, like with your cavalry and whatnot. You really want that scale-barding armor, but when it comes to ranged units, you really want to get fletching and the ranged upgrades first. Because while with melee units the defense upgrade allows you to get the first strike, with ranged units, getting the ranged upgrade, the offense upgrade allows you to get the first strike. It can make the huge difference. Ironically, on melee units, if you get their damage upgrade, they'll actually do more damage if you get the defense upgrade, because if they last long enough to get an additional hit on, that can be all that you need. I do like how he is tacking on a lot of additional skirmishers here. That is going to slow down his castle time, but on the flip side, Komtan's archers are going to be a lot less effective here. I do like, though, how Komtan, despite forwarding, he did put the barracks in his base, and I think this is really wise. Because in the event that you forward, you want to ensure that you have a way of getting, like, spearmen into your base in the event of getting raided by scouts or knights, and you never know. Curious to see if he'll be using this stable, but I think it's just for the future. And yeah, more archers coming up from Komtan, but Lonely's mass skirmishers will do quite a number on them. Let's see how this engagement goes over here. Ooh, Komtan's got a hill advantage, but he knows he still can't take that fight. Some great control here from Lonely, and then, oh no, the wolf gets on that. Komtan's going to take a lot of free hits here. And yeah, he's moving the men-at-arms in. I guess he's going to sacrifice them, but yeah, those men-at-arms are absolutely dead. I think I probably would have ran them away anyway, but they won't serve that much use at this point anyway. Yeah, you know that Lonely is intelligently focus firing the low health ones, although he didn't do that at the last second. But yeah, when you're in these neck-and-neck early game fights, or just especially on the water, you really want to be focus firing the same units. You don't want your units to spread their fire out between, spread their projectiles out between multiple guys, so that you can kill them much better. Like if there's 10 archers on 10 archers and you're focus firing, like you kill one archer and then he's only got 9 left, so then you suddenly have a numbers advantage. I'm digging this makeshift wall from Komtan. It's in a great position in the sense that he knows that The skirmishers have fletching. They've got 5 range now. So he's putting this wall kind of far forward. Oh, but he's going to need to complete it, because here they come. And yeah, he's mining stone to make up for the missing stone from that watchtower. Ooh, Lonely is going to get caught out of position here as Komtan has the hill advantage, and he's moving in. These guys are not going to make it out of here. And yeah, Lonely looks like he's pulling back right now. Very interesting game so far from both players. It's hard to tell who's going to win. Both players are in a pretty good spot right now. Although Lonely's defense has been exceptional. He's really showing us that the building placement can make a big difference. What you generally want to do is you want to build your buildings in a way that it sort of benefits your base layout. And you'll see, that Komtan's done that a bit too with his houses. He's sort of using them as walls. Obviously, you don't want to put the houses too far from your base, or you might get housed while your villagers have to walk 9,000 miles. I do like how Komtan is patrolling right now. That way, in case Lonely comes in and Komtan's not watching, the archers will automatically be able to attack. Lonely is trying to hold onto this hill here as he's looking for some vulnerabilities in Komtan's defense. I like this decision as well. What you want to do, and yeah, he might wall this as well. What you might want to do is, in these early game scenarios, you want to force the enemy army. Ooh, that villager's going to die. Nice job from Lonely over here. And the scouts are coming from Komtan. But yeah, one thing to keep in mind is you want to force the enemy units to have to walk under your town center if they want to get to the vulnerable spots in your economy, sort of treating the town center as a makeshift gate. Because that thing is going to shred through any early game units. So you'll note that, he's trying to create a choke point here where he has to walk under this town center fire if he wants to get to the bulk of Komtan's economy. Because those farmers are pretty safe, you can just garrison them inside. It's the lumberjacks and the gold miners that you want to focus on. Anyway, Komtan's decision here to go scouts is really important. Basically, he'd note that Lonely was going like mass skirmishers all game, so he put down that stable quite early. And yeah, these scouts are incredibly strong against these skirmishers. Not only do skirmishers have minimum range, but they only do 1 damage to the scouts, and archers aren't much more effective either. This is going to be pretty good, but Lonely is backing up so that he has a significant elevation advantage, and that might be enough. Wow, Komtan's bringing in 4 more villagers to try and to continue this forward, actually. That's quite interesting. Uh-oh, this is actually trouble. Looks like Lonely's economy is strong enough to the point where he's actually ready to advance if need be. However, Komtan is going to win this fight, actually, because of these scouts. Actually, or is he? Half his army is actually on the low ground, and Lonely does have this hill quite well defended. Alright, looks like Komtan is recognizing this, and yeah, this is the micro battle here. This is the battle that might decide the game. Whoever wins this fight, actually, honestly, might end up winning. This is such a close fight. I do like how Komtan did give up on that tower. No point in putting all of your eggs in one basket. That would be sincerely overcommitting. And yeah, now the real threat is that, sure, Komtan's got probably a stronger offense than Lonely does. Well, actually, not probably, he definitely does. Although Lonely does have the defense upgrade, and I think that's making the difference here. But anyway, the real threat is that Lonely is advancing right now. And that means that knights could potentially be coming, and just a single knight is so strong against most feudal age armies. And especially skirmishers and archers are going to do absolutely bupkis against the knights, and the knights will just cut through them like paper. It's going to be really bad. So we'll see how Komtan reacts, because he's really investing in this feudal age war. He does not want this feudal age war to end, and I think right now is he's hoping that he can get the advantage on Lonely right now, and basically cripple him so that this castle age turns out to be a huge mistake. And we'll see if he's able to. The fact that the Lonely has this defense upgrade, I think, is what is causing him to barely win these engagements. Also, his troops are positioned slightly better. Although Komtan does have by far the superior army composition that would win these fights, except he doesn't have enough upgrades. He does have the level 1 defense on his scouts now, so that these archers and skirmishers will be even more useless. But yeah, making all these scouts and whatnot, you can tell that his food is so much lower than Lonely's. Like, Lonely could have gone straight to the Castle Age, and he did, because he hasn't been investing in these very food pricey units like scouts and men-at-arms. Whereas Komtan has made quite a few scouts, and he's not going to get to the Castle Age anytime soon. And here comes Lonely, heading to the Castle Age right now. He's almost there. Do we have a stable? That is the question. I'm in the middle of something. I know. Alright. Ooh, looks like Lonely is going to stonewall this gap here. Alright, so he's definitely conceded in this case that Komtan has the stronger military. And, yeah, he's going to stonewall this gap and see if he can use that tech advantage that he has. Alright, so it looks like he's going for the crossbows yet. He does not have a stable at all, it looks like, so he might put one in the back over there. So this castle age might not be super effective. Oh no, there are holes in these walls, and now Komtan is going to try and go in for the killing blow. Alright, good. He finally has his padded archer armor. And yeah, the thing is with going for this castle age thing, is that he could gain a massive advantage here, and he could just completely turn the game around. But there's this period of vulnerability when he's advancing that Komtan is wisely exploiting right now to its fullest. The idea is that Komtan is going to try and contain Lonely and do as much eco damage as possible to make this fast castle age well, not fast castle age, just castle age in general, completely worthless so that Komtan can get himself to the castle age, but he is so committed to this feudal age war. Both players playing exceptionally, but that tech advantage from Lonely is going to really start making the difference. He's got Bodkin Arrow and Crossbowman. That's the standard thing to do when you go to the castle age and you build archers in the feudal age. Get those two technologies right off the bat, and these scouts are going to get thrown away here. Komtan is desperate, though. He knows that he absolutely has to do as much damage as he can in this situation. Wow, elite skirmishers, too. Yeah, he's going to keep breaking even in these fights, because Lonely traded a lot of his resources for that castle age, but Komtan's got to get to the castle age, or there's no way that he can compete. Yeah, he's still making scouts. Wow. He's really confident that he can exploit the fact that Lonely really doesn't have, honestly, the economy for this, whereas, you know, Komtan really does have a better economy that allows him to pump out these units, but this tech advantage, could this be it? Great focus firing here from Komtan, and we're going to see a very, very game-changing fight here, but I think the tech advantage is going to win in this case. Even that watchtower, honestly, I don't think it can do it. You'll see that Lonely actually is splitting the fire between his army, whereas Komtan is focus firing, and that would have honestly made the difference, except the tech advantage is way too big. That tower is going down, this is devastating, and Komtan is in big trouble. Yep, Lonely, yeah, is in the castle age, and Komtan recognizes, you know, he's seen his economy, he's like, I can't possibly get to the castle age anytime soon. Alright, so Komtan really tried, and I really do like how the roles have been reversed in this particular match. Seeing him on the offensive instead of his opponent is always quite interesting, and we get to see the risks of really committing to a forward and staying in the feudal age. Getting stuck in one age can make a big difference, and yeah, in this case we see the fast castle age can do quite a lot of damage. It's the technologies basically that win the game in this case. So let's go take a look at the achievement screen. Although, really quickly we can go look at people's bases. Note that Komtan had quite a strong economy, and honestly a little bit stronger than Lonely's, but it doesn't make a difference in the end, because of the tech advantage. Yeah, and it's this tech advantage right here that, yeah, and the home field advantage too. Like when you're defending, it's a lot easier to reinforce your own guys, so Lonely here definitely had the military on his side. Komtan had quite a few more troops, but Lonely's great use of elevation, both players used it quite well this game, and just his upgrades really caused him to just kill all these units, and Komtan got stuck in the feudal age forever. And it happens, and yeah, you can see that Komtan, like I said, he had a much better economy than Lonely did, because he was always on the offensive, and that tends to give you a better eco. Because Lonely has to keep, you know, pulling his villagers off and whatnot and replacing dead ones. But in the end, his offense was not good enough, and when you put all of your eggs in one basket, and like he invested everything in that forward, he had to end it there basically in the feudal age, and he wasn't able to. Because Lonely got to the castle age, yeah, that's what definitely changed the game in this case, and it's the technology difference as usual that decides these matches. Alright, so thank you so much for watching, guys, and if you really enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out the other videos on my YouTube channel, and don't forget to check out my Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch TV accounts as well. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys are enjoying this series. Alright, see you guys next time.